Well, probably a mischievous young boy, but of course he's a grown man at the moment, and he's certainly not that. I suppose over the years he's changed dramatically. In fact, rather surprisingly, and I think it's all been brought about by the current technology, the way it was before, from analogue now into digital. And I think he's grappled with all these things. But I must admit, a lot of his artwork is, of course, marvellous analogue, which will never go out of fashion.
So this is, how did you meet Steve?
Oh, I didn't really. He just came along.
The generic
Lismore, yes, well, you know, but recent years he sort of blossomed in the fact that he's gave me an edge in regards to photographic appreciation, in the sense that he encouraged me to use the tools of Adobe Photoshop, which is very encouraging, and I've been dragged kicking and screaming into the 20th and the 21st century. So I can thank him for that.
And I've got here, how long have you known Steve?
Oh, well, there's a huge break there for a while, which he seemed to sort of disappear from my life, but now since he's returned, it's quite a revelation to see the amount of work that he turns out, not only in the web design area and in the photographic area, which is quite amazing, and it's even surprised some of the contemporary technical people that are involved with many of the overseas productions.
Because you're into photography, it's your passion.
Yes,
so has it
surprised
you that that's carried on?
Well, it certainly is a surprise, because it certainly didn't affect any of the other children in the family. It looks as though Stephen is a one-off, and probably an individual in his own right, that he's developed, or he's been given these skills, and he's used them very well.
Did you think Steve would be an artist?
Not ever. I never gave it any sort of thought, because I'd never seen any inkling when he was younger that he would develop into this area. His grandfather had a gift of turning pencil and carbon into quite exotic, erotic works of art on, in those days, probably not very good art paper.
And it was never...
It was never sort of continued in the family in that way.
Do you think you know the reasons for the colours he uses?
I think it's basically Australian brightness and colour, and it's exciting to be able to paint in that sort of colour. With the new advent of digital photography and the use of high definition, the colours vibrate even in the cameras these days, and he seems to have copied that, only in a different way, on his canvases.
Now, he's generally happy and cheeky around other people. Is there a side of him that you know about that others don't?
Probably yes, but it's not a good thing to sort of diagnose how people react in certain ways, and quite frankly what I see is a bit of a reminder of his father, and probably going back to his great-grandfather, in the sense that he's not he's not drawing erotic women, but the skills there.
I always thought that Steve would be a creative person. He was always very creative at school, whether it was with his artwork, visual arts. He was always doing silly things with creating magazine covers for a band that he was going to create or be part of when he left school. But he was always very creative and always had lots of ideas, and yeah.
What do you think inspires his work?
Good question. I think his life experience is really behind his work, really comes through in his artwork. So yeah, life experience, and he's always been very good with use of colour, so yeah, inspirational in that way. I certainly like talking to other people about Steve's art, because probably a number of pieces that he's done I've been have meant a lot to me, because those experiences that Steve paints from are the things that I've been part of as well.
For example?
Well, I've got one piece of Steve where he painted a section of wall out at Yowa, which is an Opal mining community in southwestern Queensland, and it's just the wave of the flow of the rock, where you've got the show of opal through that rock, and Steve's painted that. That was from a trip many years ago, yeah, it's just amazing, remarkable how it's come out in his artwork, for us to see a piece where it's certainly, I can, in my memory, very vivid recollections of that trip and being in these underground tunnels and pulling this opal out of the wall, but the way that he's been able to recreate that, I just think is amazing.
Mm-hmm.